Another day of fights. Yes, I'm coming at you from my car again because this is where I do my best work. And week 2, or not really week 2 since, week 2. No, not really week 2 since I bet on Wednesday, but edition 2 of Chook Bets. My parlay did not go any better than Wednesday's, but it was a good night of fights. The reason I'm a big, if I bet on sports, I will watch it very intently if it is on TV. So that is why I've been putting in these parlays, because I really do like MMA. I'll watch some Bellator before it moved to Paramount. I don't get Paramount. And I watch UFC when it's on ESPN, and I'm not going to spend $60 on the pay-per-views unless like Conor McGregor or Habib, someone like that's on it. So I'm like, not a casual, little above a casual, but not a diehard, because I'm not going to buy every MMA event and watch every MMA event and watch the prelims that are on ESPN 8 The Ocho. It's just not going to be me, but if I bet money on it, I will watch it. So my parlay, I had a 4-fighter parlay. For some reason, I like 4-fighter parlays. This card was very difficult, very, I don't know, close. There's a lot of unknowns, I guess. That's a good way to describe it. But I did 4 fights on the main card. The only one I didn't bet was Song Yadong and Chico Vera. But I took Eric Enders. Awful decision, but Eric Enders. It was Eric Enders. I took Claudio Gadelha. I took Dan Ige. And I took Walt Harris. So, talk about the unknowns. A lot of them there. You got Barbosa, featherweight, first time, pretty lean 55er. How would that affect him? Walt Harris, his big tragedy, how would that affect him? Or, affect Overeem? How do you want to go in there and beat up a guy? I mean, I know it's your job, but still, fighters are human beings. They have feelings, but so it started off right off the bat. My bet was butchered right from the start, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I've heard about the hype on Eric Enders before he went on his three-fight losing streak, and I hate Alabama to begin with, and now I hate Alabama even more. Not gonna lie, first round, I started watching this, and the whole round, this guy kept doing the same combinations, and I've never seen Eric Enders fight. I mean, I've seen probably the clips of his, first round knockouts, just because he's super athletic, but I never watched him fight. And after this, I might never watch him fight again. I'll definitely never bet on him. The guy, man, I know he's young in the sport, but he just kept doing the same combination. I think, is he a southpaw? I think he was throwing like a jab, a straight left, and then a right high kick. And it's not like his right high kick is just like he snaps it out there, but he just kept doing the same thing over and over again. And after the first round, I pretty much knew I was in trouble. I pretty much knew that this dude was probably not going to win the fight, but he kept pushing Jocko up against the cage, so I was kind of hoping for maybe, but other than that, he wasn't really doing much of anything. So right off the bat, he lost, and my parlay at plus 1100 was broken. That's why I guess it was plus 1100. I think he was the favorite though, but so he lost, and he did not look good, and I will never bet on him again, that's for sure. And then we went to Barbosa Ige, which was a hell of a fight. I'm glad I bet on it, because again, I probably wouldn't have watched it. I probably would have turned into the main event. But Dan Ige, man, he probably could be a 135er, and Barbosa's a 155er. That first round, I thought it was going to be a little iffy, because Barbosa was throwing some heat. He did not look like the cut drained him or anything like that. I mean, he was throwing heat. When he got on top of this dude, he was just bringing bombs down on top of him. But Ige was slinging leather too. Let's not get that twisted. Ige was bringing it, but Barbosa's just so long and so damn big. He's going to be a big, I mean, obviously he's coming from 55. He's going to be a big 45er. Ige got the decision. I mean, I think that was accurate. It would have been tough. It was really came down to the third round. Barbosa won the first round, just butchered him. And I mean, the fact that you can hear, there's no crowd and you could hear everything, made it so much worse. Like, it just shows how much power Barbosa has at 45. It was just so loud. Those kicks, man. That's what I'm going to say Dan Ige, one of my new favorite fighters, because this dude was taking some heavy leg kicks and it just walking. Just continued to walk. Didn't even, no sold. Didn't sell it at all. Like, he didn't get hit with anything. Like, he got hit with a little feather. And it was awesome. So he's one of my new favorite fighters, ranked 15th. That'll jump him up a little bit. First fight I've ever seen, but of Ige, I've heard of him. But man, I'll watch. And he did get the decision, which is kind of tough for Barbosa. I just think that was a bad matchup. Like, you look at, I watched Barbosa yesterday, and I kind of want to see him, fight Max Holloway. It would have been a little easier to call for that fight if he won. But like, fight Max Holloway. Volkanovski'd probably give him a little trouble because he'll get inside just like Ige did. But Holloway will fight him at range. Holloway doesn't really have much power to be concerned about. So guys like that would be good fights that I'd want to see. But Ige got the win. So then we went to Gedalia and Angela Hill. Claudia Gedalia, Angela Hill. And I would tell you before this fight that if I had never been so sure of anything as to the fact that I thought Claudia Gedalia was just going to maul Angela Hill. And that's just ignorance on my part because I've never actually watched an Angela Hill fight. And I saw Gedalia's last fight in the summer against, granted it was Randa Marcos, but she just mauled her. And it was awesome. Are you going to go? Am I going to go? I don't know. Who's going to go? Alrighty then. Truck, you need to move up! Guy. Dunkin' Donuts, Jeez. But, my man, Gedalia took her down and implemented what I thought she was going to do the whole time and just, took her down, got on top of her, landed some hard strikes, and I thought she was just going to do that for the next 2 rounds. But then I don't think she got her down again the rest of the fight, and Angela Hill was landing some good stuff. Back and forth. Gedalia definitely got round 1. Angela Hill got round 2. I thought Gedalia got round 3 just because when she did land, like, she was gassed, and you could see it, and her punches might have been labored, like the commentator said, but when she was landing, like, they were harder. They were the harder shots. Angela Hill landed more of them, but Gedalia was landing the harder shots. But, man, her conditioning just didn't look there, and granted, could be what's going on. Maybe you don't get a full training camp, or maybe you're just not used to, or you're not doing things like you're used to doing them, and that could have an effect, obviously, I would imagine. But she's got just so much muscle for 115, and she probably cuts a decent amount of weight. But Angela Hill, super impressed. I'll definitely watch more of her fights. Gedalia did get the decision. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I'm glad I didn't go on record and say that I would never be more sure of anything as the fact that Gedalia will win that fight. I was going to bet money on it. Obviously, I was going to bet $20 on it or more because I thought she was just going to maul her, and I'm glad I didn't. Well, I'm not glad I didn't because she did get the win, but God, I would have been nervous. And then Walt Harris, man, I took him. I thought he was going to win feel good, something like this. You just never know how a tragedy like he went through is going to affect someone mentally. Going to the gym and doing what they do could be therapeutic. It could almost be looked at like, their mission in life, and they just get locked in, or, they get distracted. You never know how it's going to affect the person. But I went with Walt Harris. I thought he was going to dig down deep and, just strict based on fights like Overeem. And I think I heard Jimmy Smith give this stat that, like, his last 13, he hasn't lost by they called it spectacular fashion, but his last 13 losses, 12 of them have been by KO, and one of them has been by an armbar. I don't know if that's accurate. That's just something I heard on Jimmy Smith's podcast. I didn't fact check it, but if that's true, that's crazy. And I mean, I've seen some of his fights, and I just think at 40 years old, Overeem's chin is a little susceptible because, I mean, he's been through a lot of wars, MMA, kickboxing, all that stuff. And Walt Harris hits hard. That's why I took Walt Harris. First round, looked like he was going to get him out of there because he landed a straight left, or it might have been a right hook. I'm not real sure. I can't recall, but landed it on the button. Overeem went down, and then Walt Harris went to the ground. Ref probably could have stopped it a couple times, but he let them fight. Heavyweights, I mean, because he was landing some big bombs from the top, and Walt Harris at that point wasted all his energy. Overeem reversed the position, ended up on top of him for like 2 minutes, the last 2 minutes of the first round, and Walt Harris was just gassed. You saw it. Because you can't hear the crowd or anything, and the mics are all around, there's hot mics, you could hear Walt Harris breathing like he could not get oxygen. So at that point, he was blown up, and I just didn't think that he was going to pull through. And then in the second round, Overeem got him down and flattened him out, and then just, sunk his hips in and just pounded on him. And Walt Harris just didn't have any energy, just didn't even attempt really once he got flattened up to get up. I mean, they gave him Mergulata, gave him all the time in the world to do it, and I mean, you've been there. I've never been in an MMA fight, but I've been there where you want to do something mentally. You're like, I need to do this, but your body just isn't responding because you just don't have any energy. You can't get oxygen. It's just, it's one of those things, and that just appears what may have happened here. He was just blown up after the first round. He went for the finish, and Overeem ends up getting the win. So Overeem, resurgence, kind of. He's turning 40, I guess, today. Who knows? Do I want to see him in there? He wants another run at the title. Again, I don't want to see him fight Ngannou. Ngannou knocks him out probably just like the last time they fought. Because again, even when Walt Harris touched him, he went down. Like, his chin's not great. He was able to recover, but I mean, keep fighting. You'll be able to. He'll float in the 5 to 10, 10 to 15 range. He's exciting to watch. I like Overeem, good dude, but I don't know. I don't know if the title's in his future. So, another night of fights, another troop bet butchered right away, thanks to Eric Anders. Alabama hates you even more just because this guy played for you. Maybe we'll do it. Maybe we'll do it next time. Maybe we'll do better next time. So, after the next UFC event, which I think is in 2 weeks, I'll be back with my bets, what I bet, how I got them wrong. Do I do better? Do I get 3 out of 4? Who knows? We'll see you next time.